Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Talk of the Town podcast. We are back here this Monday morning. I unfortunately had to end up missing last Friday's podcast or the long form content released. I did end up getting some clips out on my socials. Just having some technical difficulties last Friday. It wouldn't let me record a long video at all, but I was luckily able to record some short clips. So again, if you haven't checked out my short clips and you missed the long form content on Friday, at Talk of the Town _pod, I put out about a 2-minute clip on my Instagrams, my TikTok, my YouTube shorts right here on YouTube. So make sure to check that out. And if I do sound stuffy on this podcast, it's because I am. Yesterday was 93 degrees and sunny out. We had a really bad thunderstorm last night for a little bit here. Now it's windy and cold. It's literally chilly out this morning, and it's just messing with my sinuses so bad. So excuse me if I do sound a little stuffy. And this morning, too, I was up nice and early, showered, everything, ready to record. It was like 8:55. It was a little bit before 9 a.m. Podcastle, the app or the site I record on, of course, has maintenance until 10 a.m. So I have to wait until 10 a.m. I was like, please let me get long form content out today. Luckily, I am. I was ready at exactly 10 a.m. So thank goodness for that. And yeah, let's get ready this morning. First topic today, I'm talking about my thoughts on the preseason so far here through week 2. Mainly, I'm going to talk about the quarterback performances. There's not really many team performances, because I'm going to talk about that here in a couple of minutes on my next topic. Mainly, I want to talk about Jackson Dart and the Giants. He is, right now through 2 weeks, he is 26 for 35 passing, 291 passing yards, 2 touchdowns and no picks, which is really good because I was not a Jackson Dart believer 2 weeks ago, and he's definitely pushing me towards me thinking he's a good quarterback. But again, I know he's playing the backups, and I don't think he's going to start. I'm pretty sure they're starting Russell Wilson. He had a pretty crazy pass this week. It had like 60 yards of air distance. It was ridiculous. Good for him out there. He's getting pretty old. He's getting up there and still passing like that. That really looked like vintage Russell Wilson right there. I was not a fan at all of them drafting Jackson Dart that high. I'm still a little skeptical, but he's definitely shown that, okay, he can play to an extent, because if he was out there stinking it up against the backups, we'd be like, okay, can Jackson Dart actually even play at all? It's even a backup, really. I don't overreact like that, but you'd have people in the news thinking that. He's definitely made more people believers. He's made me a little bit more of a believer. I'd like to see him in the regular season before I say, okay, Jackson Dart's a good quarterback. But he's definitely showing a little bit of promise, which is what the Giants fans have been dying to see for a long time. Even in the late Eli Manning years, he was not good his last few years there in New York. So it's been a long time since New York has had a good young quarterback. And you're seeing glimpses of hope, and the fans are absolutely just loving it right now. Cannot say I blame them. Cam Ward, 7 for 15, 109 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 picks. I don't read too much into that at all. I know his stats did not look good against the Falcons, but he had a beautiful 30-yard pass in the bucket over two Atlanta defenders. Ended up dropping the pass. That's going to be his problem all year. His stats aren't going to look as good. I know he said he's thrown to a top 5 receiving core. He has to say that. He has to. Dude, you're throwing to a bottom 2 or 3 receiving core, arguably number 32. Your receiving core is really, really bad. Quinn Ewers, who cares? He's not playing. Tyler Shuck, 24 for 34, 231 yards passing, 1 touchdown to 1 pick. He does look all right. I do give him that. I still am very skeptical of him in the regular season, though. I think the Saints are going to be very bad. They had another tie game. There's been 3 ties in the preseason so far in 2 weeks. Pretty crazy. That happened with Shedeur Sanders this week. Dylan Gabriel, though, he showed he can play. I've always thought Dylan Gabriel could play, but I think Shedeur Sanders is just the better player and prospect in general, because he was. This is what I've been saying here. I posted a thing about Shedeur Sanders on my socials last week, and a lot of the people were saying, "Well, Dylan Gabriel's the better player. It's the reason they drafted him over him." No, I've said this. That was a spite pick. They knew they were going to get Shedeur Sanders. They knew it. Every GM in the league knew he was only going to go to 2 teams. There was no chance he was going to go to any other teams because he just had bad interviews, and a lot of people didn't want. A lot of teams didn't want to get mixed up in that drama. They know Shedeur Sanders is a better player than Dylan Gabriel. I know that. That's what I'm sitting there saying. He's the better prospect. Just because they drafted Dylan Gabriel over him, they know for a fact Shedeur is a better player. He was arguably going to be the #1 overall pick. They just didn't like his attitude. I went on about a whole thing about this last week. If you want to watch, make sure to go back and watch that video. But no, Dylan Gabriel looked good. He was 13 for 18, 143 yards passing, 0 touchdowns to a pick. He threw a pick 6. That was a really bad interception. But he did look good. He had some really promising plays that led them on a scoring drive. So I believe Dylan Gabriel is a decent player. But he's not better than Sanders. This is a topic for another day. Milroe looks all right through 2 weeks, 9 for 15, 107 passing yards, no touchdowns, no picks. I'm not reading too much into the team records. I don't really care about the preseason team records, to be completely honest with you. So I'm not going to get too much into that. Another one, I think Trey Lance is kind of revitalizing his career a little bit. He's starting to look really good. He's made some really good throws, high-quality throws. He looks comfortable. Maybe he gets another chance somewhere. Or maybe Justin Herbert goes down and they have a legitimate, solid backup. He gets a chance to show himself. Who knows? Teams are always looking for quarterbacks. Trey Lance is starting to look like, okay, maybe this guy can make a name for himself somewhere. Who knows? We'll see. Next topic, I have my 5 and Thrive and 5 and Dive. We have not done this topic since the first week of my podcast. This one's going to be a little different. I'm not going to do all 5 dive teams just because I'm not reading too much into the preseason. There hasn't been a lot of news. I do have some teams I put in the dive category that I'm going to talk about, but I'm not going to put, I don't have 5 dive teams because I don't think that teams are diving down right now. Just not a lot of news. And I'm not, just because teams lose in the preseason, the Bills just lost like 38-0 last night. I'm not putting them in the dives, and the Bills are going to be fine. But I'll list off my 5 Thrive teams. 5, I have Cleveland. As I just talked about them. At least you know the quarterbacks you drafted can play to some extent. Shedeur looked great when he played. Dylan Gabriel looked pretty good besides the pick 6. Led him on a scoring drive. He looked good. That's good news. At least you have the quarterbacks you drafted can play. Because if they were out there and Shedeur looked bad and Dylan Gabriel looked bad, we'd be like, oh my gosh. What a nightmare for Cleveland. That'd be an absolute nightmare. Then you'd be stuck with Joe Flacco and you have no chance of having any sort of franchise quarterback that's young. But at least you do. They look pretty good out there. Only thing that worries me is their quarterback room is pretty injured. So, but besides that, only reason why I have them there is because the young quarterbacks they drafted actually look good. Number 4, I have the Bears, especially after last night's blowout. I only really put them there because Caleb Williams looked really good. A lot of people are like, okay, am I actually invested in the Bears now? Are they making me believe again? And to an extent, they looked really, really good in there. So I have them in there. I mean, that's pretty good news if you're the Bears. If Caleb Williams went out there and was bad, we'd be like, man, oh my gosh. Are we looking to maybe draft another quarterback next year? Are we going to be moving off of him? But, that could still happen. They looked really good out there, especially with Ben Johnson. There's some hope there in that organization. Number 3, I have the Raiders. Ashton Genty in that offense, when they were out there, they looked really good. I know they didn't win, but they looked really, really solid out there. He had that crazy truck, the hit stick, scored a touchdown. Geno Smith looked pretty solid out there passing the ball. So that's always something to look forward to. Again, I'm kind of not necessarily nitpicky, but picking a couple drives at a time here for this 5-3 and 5-and-dive. Number 2, I have the Giants. Their quarterbacks are looking really good. I just talked about Jackson Dart, Russell Wilson, Winston when he's been in there looks pretty good. DeVito had a couple really good passes. The main one, though, is Jackson Dart. He's looking really good so far in the preseason. All the Giants fans want is hope, and they're getting some sort of hope. So, again, if they looked really bad out there, we'd be really concerned about the Giants right now. So thank goodness their quarterback room looks good. They're pretty high up. And number 1, I have the New England Patriots. My team, they look incredible. They look like night and day from what they were last year. Even in the preseason last year, night and day. Defense looks good. This freaking Efton Chisholm III, this receiver, they may have found another Julian Edelman, Wes Welker. He just looks ridiculous out there. There's no way he doesn't make the team. When the starting offense is out there, Travion Henderson, the rookie, looking like he could be the best rookie running back in the class, even over Genti. They look really good. Drake May looks good. They've been tearing it up in camp. Stephon Diggs had a great camp. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to watch my Patriots play. Yeah, they're number 1 on my Thrive, not just because I'm a diehard Patriots fan, because they look incredible. They look really good out there. So that's my 5-and-Thrive teams. Let's go a little bit over the dives. I'm going to put the Colts at one of my dive teams, really because the Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson quarterback battle is going literally nowhere. That's where you'd like to see, okay, where's the gap? They've been playing in the preseason. This was Daniel Jones' stats last game. 7 for 11, 101 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Anthony Richardson, 6 for 11, 73 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. I mean, I guess Daniel Jones was the better quarterback, but that's not what you want to say. They were both relatively the exact same. That is not what you want to see to the Colts. You want to see one of these guys, particularly, and we all agree, Anthony Richardson, really, really take that step forward into just blowing the quarterback battle out of the water. It's not happening. That's really worrisome for the Colts because it's looking like you just wasted your number 4 overall pick when there was good players there. I mean, that's just pretty disappointing. They're 0-2, even starting Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson. They have an 0-2 record. I don't really read too much into the record, but I figure I'll just put that out there anyway. Yeah, that's rough. That's really rough. The Colts are scary a little bit. Another team I put is the Rams. The whole situation with Matt Stafford, I mean, it's just a little worrisome. Besides that, I don't really put him anywhere in the preseason. They don't have any other bad injuries. Just the whole situation with Stafford. Can he please play? Because if he doesn't play, your Super Bowl aspirations are out the window. Another dive team I have is the Cowboys right now. Mainly because of Joe Milton. They traded for him. He looked good on the Patriots. I remember some Patriots fans were saying, why are we not starting Milton? I'm trying to kind of figure out why, looking at him in the preseason. What was he? 17 for 29 against the Rams last week in the first week. 1 touchdown, 1 pick. This week against the Ravens, 9 for 18, 122 yards, no touchdowns and a pick. He does not look great. Yeah, so he's going to be the guy who has a crazy highlight deep ball throw and just looks ridiculous. But he's not a very good quarterback. He's not going to be a great starting quarterback. I think he'll be viable, but he's going to make some mistakes out there, and he's going to have some ridiculous 50-yard bomb highlight throws. That's why he's going to stick around in the NFL for a long time. He's an athletic freak. There's no one's denying that, but treat a 5th-round pick for Joe Milton, and he's pretty mid. Is not great. He has a touchdown to 2 picks in the preseason so far. Just above a 50% completion percentage. Not really what you were hoping for, but he just looks very mid. Next topic, I have the NBA is dying. And is Adam Silver the reason why? I just want to go over a few things. I have it right here. The NBC is rolling out Coast to Coast Tuesday, which pushes back the second leg of NBA doubleheaders to 11 p.m. Eastern time. I'm just sitting there with my mouth, my jaw dropped. You are struggling so bad with viewership in the NBA. It is declining every single year. And that's why to me that Luka Doncic trade was made, to get people talking about the NBA, because the viewership was down in the dumps. It was bad. And now you're doing stuff like this. Guys, you are not competing with the NFL in viewership. You can't do things like that because no one's watching you anyway. Not a soul. If you have Warriors fans, which there's plenty of them over here on the East Coast, I live on the East Coast, or whatever, Kings fans, whatever, a team on the West Coast, nobody is watching that game at 11 p.m. Eastern time. Not a soul. Especially your younger audience, whether they're in school or not. The game's going to be over at 1 a.m. They got school in the morning. They can't stay. I stayed up to 1 a.m., but realistically, would they rather have to watch the game till 1 a.m. on a school night? No. And a lot of kids can't. Excuse me. And that's where you're drawing it. That's where your problem is coming in. They are driving away their younger audience because they can't watch games. They can't watch games. That is a terrible idea. And I made sure to look at the comments to make sure I wasn't necessarily the only one who thought so. Everyone agrees. What are they doing? What are they doing? NBA doubleheaders to 11 p.m. Eastern time. No one's watching that. No one's watching the Kings or the Warriors and the Wizards at 11 p.m. Nobody. That's brutal. That is truly brutal. Adam Silver, they really have to debate getting him out of the NBA. Whether between his obsession with tournament-style play and decisions like this, and another one I'm about to read here in a minute, he's killing the league. He is. He's completely over his head. To me, he's felt like he's over his head the whole time he stepped in as commissioner of the NBA. He's added nothing to this league. The in-season tournament, the play-in tournament, or the play-in. Brutal. The All-Star weekend has just been a disaster. It's only getting worse. Everything is continuously declining in the NBA. And he's making decisions like this. The 11 p.m. Eastern time games, doubleheaders, and then this right here. This is the main one where I have a bone to pick. The NBA regular season goes as follows. Mondays, Peacock. Tuesdays, NBC Peacock. Wednesdays, ESPN. Thursdays, Amazon Prime. Fridays, Amazon Prime, ESPN. Saturdays, Amazon Prime, ABC. Sundays, ABC, NBC Peacock. Yeah. Why is so many? You should not have Thursdays exclusively to Amazon Prime. Mondays exclusively to Peacock. Most of every single game you have besides Wednesdays is exclusive to something. Like, you are already struggling with your viewership. Why? You are not the NFL. I'm so sorry to say. And I love the NBA. But you are not competing with them to where you can do these subscriptions. You are struggling enough. You are not going to get viewers of the Wizards, the Hornets, anywhere to pay for all these subscriptions to watch Wizards games. If your team is even half decent, you're not going to get them to pay for Peacock, Amazon Prime. You're just not. ESPN Plus, whatever the case is. NBA League Pass, whatever. You're not going to get them to pay for it. The league is suffering because Adam Silver cannot accept that he cannot compete with the NFL. Do not follow the NFL blueprint right now. You need to figure out, okay, how can I expand my viewership to as many people as humanly possible, not lock them behind subscriptions? Because that's why people are not watching your stuff. Move out of the draft lottery. Make sure the bad teams can now compete the next year to be good again. Make them interesting. Don't have the Wizards drafting 6 and the Mavericks drafting number 1 to get Cooper Flagg when they were just a game out of the playoffs, literally competing to be in the playoffs. They now have a generational prospect, and the Wizards don't. No one's going to pay to watch Wizards games, Nets games, Hornets games on behind subscriptions. You have to get them to watch first and make the teams good again in a year. You have teams rebuilding for 20 years in the NBA. Yeah, that's a fact. There's teams that have literally never been good their entire franchise. They may have some outlier years, but that are never consistently good. Focus on the foundation of your league first before you lock them behind subscriptions, Adam Silver. To me, it's time to move on to another commissioner. It's time. The NBA needs to move on because that league is dying. It is a dying league. And the footsteps they're following right now, whatever Adam Silver's game plan is not working. And everybody agrees. Everybody agrees but him. He just can't accept it. And it can be turned around real fast, but he's digging himself in a deeper hole. My next and last topic today is, what is CJ Stroud's ceiling in the NFL all-time form, let's say? I'm not necessarily going to, I don't necessarily want to compare him to anyone all time. He's more of a pocket passer to me. He's not necessarily a dual threat like a Lamar. He's a very accurate passer and a high IQ guy. He's not necessarily a runner, but he can move. He can definitely move. I don't know. I don't really, he's a very, no, it's not anywhere near Cam Newton, but he's kind of just his own guy. Just a standalone. Let me say he's a more mobile Jared Goff. A lot of people kind of slam Jared Goff, but Jared Goff is a very good pocket passing quarterback. He is very Jared Goff, but can move. He's Jared Goff, but can move. Like that's what he is to me. And Jared Goff has been to a Super Bowl and a couple of championships, conference championships. There is nothing wrong with that at all. And Jared Goff is a good quarterback. Look at the contract he's on. CJ Stroud is better than Jared Goff to me, mainly because he can move, and he's a very fluent passer. I mean, that's a Hall of Fame level guy. Not necessarily saying Jared Goff is a Hall of Fame level guy. Jared Goff goes on to win a ring. By the time you look at his stats by the end of his career, he's been to 2 Super Bowls. Jared Goff may end up getting in the Hall of Fame at some point, actually. If he ends up winning a Super Bowl, or even just getting to 2 with the Lions, that'll make 3 appearances, including the one with the Rams. Jared Goff's gonna end up a Hall of Famer, I'm telling you. He's gonna be up there on the all-time touchdowns list, passing yards, everything. Man, I think respectfully so, he probably should be in the Hall of Fame conversation if he gets to that point, of course. If he doesn't get to another Super Bowl or win one, he's not going to be a Hall of Famer. But that's what I'm saying. For CJ Stroud's ceiling, he has a Hall of Fame level ceiling. He's already won 2 playoff games. He's been to 2 divisional rounds. Definitely would like to see him get to a Super Bowl, but he has the capabilities to do so. He's completely turned around the Texans organization. That's my comparison for him, as a mobile Jared Goff quarterback, which is an extremely high-level quarterback. That's very good. I'm not going to say he's a mobile Peyton Manning, because he's not a mobile Peyton Manning. Again, there's a pocket passing quarterback, but he's not that level of pocket passer. He's a Jared Goff level of pocket passer, which is extremely good. You want to say, okay, maybe he's a mobile Kurt Warner or something. Okay, maybe. But right now, my comparison is a mobile Jared Goff. High IQ, good passer, good arm, but can move. That's what I like about him. He's a really good quarterback. People are kind of sleeping on CJ Stroud. He didn't have the greatest year last year, but he had a very good year. Still ended up winning a playoff game. I think mainly because people kind of wrote him off because he had one of the greatest rookie years of all time until Jay Daniels this year. That was very short-lived for him, unfortunately, but hey, he is going to be a Hall of Fame level quarterback to me by the time it's all said and done. A lot of hope for CJ Stroud. I have a very good feeling he's going to be on the ballot to be a Hall of Famer one day. He's that level. He's a very good person too. Just him. He's just a very good guy, high level character. There ain't no reason he can't be a Canton one day. So that's my ceiling for CJ Stroud, is just a better version of Jared Goff. Hold on. Maybe around a Kurt Warner, mobile Kurt Warner. Let me say that. Let me be a little more, I guess, high level. Kurt Warner's a Hall of Famer. That level to me is CJ Stroud's ceiling. He plays a lot like that. So, yeah, that's my video for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe. Every subscription counts into moving this channel even more forward, boosting my viewership, everything. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow on the next one.